Welcome, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about letting go, making room for new things. My name is Bob Kennedy. I'm a ministerial student and also the Vice President and Secretary of the Board of Trustees. So when I thought about this topic, I was really thinking about springtime and Easter and how a lot of us think about making room for things that are new, cleaning up, doing spring cleaning. So letting go of things that we need to let go of and making room for things that are new. I think that Easter time is a great time to do this because it is a good spring cleaning time, and it is a good time for you to get ready for the rebirth that happens at Easter. So as I was thinking about this, I was thinking of several different things about letting go of past relationships, letting go of past hurts, past baggage, things that you just have in your life that you, for some reason, have decided to hold on to. This is a great time of year for you to just let them go. So releasing those things that are holding you back from being your authentic self. Making room for things that are new. We need to clear out the old things to make room for things that are new. So Neil Douglas Klotz, in the book Prayers of the Cosmos, Meditations on the Aramaic Words of Jesus, says, to create this holy place inside, letting go is necessary. If the room is filled with old knickknacks, there's no place for a shrine. If the flute is clogged, no music can come through. So as I was thinking about this, I thought of an interesting childhood story. So as a child, I had a favorite thing that I carried around with me. When I was a young child, I carried it everywhere I went. I never went anywhere without it. It was a toy that my maternal grandmother had made for me from scraps. So she grew up in the Depression in a farm. Even when my mother grew up, they didn't eat anything they didn't grow. So they grew it in the garden, or they had the animals. That was all they had. And so, my grandmother was very frugal about things. And so she made me a little stuffed animal or stuffed thing made out of just scraps she had. So, the interesting thing I think about this is, even though she wasn't necessarily the most loving person, you could tell that she made this thing with love. And even today, I can feel the love that she infused in it while she was doing that. So what is this thing? I love the story of Humpty Dumpty when I was young. And so she made me a version of Humpty Dumpty. Now, when I was a small child, I couldn't say Humpty Dumpty, so I called it Humpy Dumpy. And I used to get made fun of a little bit for calling it Humpy Dumpy, but I was a little kid, and there's just some things that little kids can't pronounce very well. So I went everywhere with Humpy Dumpy. I wouldn't get in the car unless it was with me. I wouldn't go to sleep unless I had it. I was just insistent that Humpy Dumpy go everywhere that I went. So I vaguely remember, or possibly I was told this story, that at one point, my mother, we were going on a trip, and my mother packed the Humpty Dumpty, because she was afraid that she was going to forget it. And so that was just a good way to remember it. But we got in the car to leave, and it wasn't there. And I screamed until she got out of the car, got the suitcases out, unpacked it, and got it to me. So I was really attached to this Humpty Dumpty. So as I was thinking about this story, I was thinking about how much patience my mother must have had. I don't know that if I had me as a child, that I don't know if I would have been able to handle me, because I was a little bit of a tough child. So I think that a mother's patience is a beautiful thing. So eventually, I started to grow out of this stuffed toy, and I kind of moved on to some other things. And one of the interesting things about all of this is, I didn't really even think about this toy after I got a little bit older. But my mother saved that and a bunch of other childhood things and gave them to me in a box at one point when they were downsizing. And so she was just giving me some of my things. And I didn't really think about it. I think I kind of peeked in the box and I'm like, oh, there's childhood things in here, and kind of packed it away. Well, the last time I moved, I decided that I was going to go through everything that I had packed, not packed. I was going to think about each item and really just clear out what I didn't need. And I found it. I found Humpy Dumpy. And I didn't know that she had packed it in there. I didn't know that she had saved it. And I had had this box for probably 5 years. And so I actually have it with me. This is the Humpy Dumpy. And my grandmother even stitched my name on it. Now, the other funny thing about this is anyone can figure out, because this was a scrap, probably about when this was made. And actually, I remember a photograph of one of my cousins with pants made out of this material. So she was definitely, this was just a piece of material that she found. And I do have it. Now, in the last year or so, because I found it, I actually took it, undid some of the stitching, pulled out some of the stuffing because it was stuffed with old rags, and they, to be honest, started to smell a little bit, and cleaned it. I cleaned it up. I washed it really thoroughly. And then I got some help because I'm not very good at sewing. I got some help with putting it all back together. My stepmother actually restuffed and sewed it for me. And so now I have this thing that could last another 50 years. And so even though I released my attachment to it at the time, I still have some attachment to it because this is a very beloved childhood thing. So how does all this fit together? So my questions would be, what do you need to let go? What are the things that you're holding on to for whatever reason that just need to go? What have you been holding on to that you need to release? Who do you need to forgive? Is there someone in your life that you need to forgive? And one of the things that I've really discovered is I'm generally the one that has to be forgiven first. I have to forgive myself. When something happens and I do things, I need to forgive myself before I can really forgive other people. And so who do you need to forgive besides yourself? Because generally, most people do have some things that they're going to have to forgive themselves for. So I came across a Bible verse that I thought was very appropriate for what we're talking about today. So in Isaiah 43:18, and this is a New International Version. I looked at all the different versions. I like this one best. God says, "Forget the former things. Do not dwell in the past. See, I am doing a new thing." So if God, Spirit, Divine Mind, Universal Spirit, whatever you call it, can do a new thing, you can do a new thing too. This is something that you can do. So let's spend some time. I have a release and an affirmation that I would like to propose. So my release and affirmation is, I release the things that I no longer need to make room for what is new. I am wisdom and will discover what is mine to do. I release the things that are no longer needed to make room for what is new. I am wisdom and will discover what is mine to do.